Hello! Today we will try to fix the GIMP, an absolute stalwart of open source software, but sometimes held back by its complexity and clunky UI. Now, I work with a lot of UI and also UI designers as part of my job, and I've tried to use the GIMP at various times through my career, but it's just not been comparable to the competition. And the reviews of it sort of show that too. It's not easy to get into, and some reviews are just outright dismissive. So let's focus on some practical fixes, but also a wish list of things we'd like to see. So, initial screen, I would like to see a file creation or open dialog right away. You can't really do anything until you have a new canvas or open file, so why not just ask the user right away? The icons and UI elements don't look consistent. The brushes get way too much attention. Let's see what we can do with the default preferences. So, under Preferences, there should be options to tweak this dark theme. I think I like the default system theme the best, just at first glance. There's just not enough contrast between button foreground and background elements with the dark and grey themes. The older color icons just look clearer too, and the selection icons also look more recognizable. So in summary, we pick the standard interface theme and the older legacy or color icons. That looks so much better already. Now we've got a blank image open. A couple of things I don't like are the wasted space. So this is optional, but let's first hide the status bar. Under View, untick Show Status Bar. Another good one is the scroll bars. Most designers or even a casual user would use the mouse to drag the canvas around, so I would untick to save space for the actual graphic work. So the next thing I'd change is the left and right toolboxes. Typically when you're working with a specific tool, having to switch between adjustments on the right and the left is confusing. I think a lot of other users would just like to have your tool shortcuts on the left and the dialogues on the right. So let's shift some of the dialogues to the right and also close the ones we don't need. Alright, it took some time, but I've closed all but 4 of the dialogues that I want. I've also made some tweaks to how they display. If you click on this little icon here, you can change the tab style to be just text rather than the tab icon. I don't think the GIMP icons convey what they do as clearly as they could, so text just works better for me. I've also changed the preview size to large, which helps a lot, especially with the Layers tab. And of course, we have a much cleaner looking one-column tool shortcuts area on the left. Okay, one last thing to go over, and that's keyboard shortcuts. As you get faster, you tend to just use one key press like R for rectangle selection or M for the move tool. But the default key bindings at times require you to use shift presses instead. So we can fix that by going into the Edit and then Keyboard Shortcuts. I would love if these were just mapped to one key by default. Maybe even have an option to use default Photoshop key bindings. Okay, so that should be about it for this video. Hopefully this makes GIMP a little easier and more accessible if you're new to it. GIMP is an absolute beast of an application, and the developers need massive kudos for their efforts. But designers can be a fickle bunch, and UI can sometimes be very subjective. Well guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.